One team, they call it the montage team, take all the raw footage and then throw in special effects and get the nasheed guys to come up with a song, and that was their job. So they had their work, which was just to sing, produce songs, and then the I'lam Askari, which is like military media, guys who are pretty much, as far as I understand, either they're soldiers or they're always embedded with the soldiers and they have a camcorder with them, and that's their job, just running up and down the battlefield. Wilaya media, which is different from us because we're the central, like Al Hayat, Al Furqan, close to 100 probably. Adobe After Effects. They had big laptops. Mostly it was written. Occasionally it'd be audio. My team lead, who was much better than me translating, they used me for voiceovers in the English language videos, and also for recording the news, the daily news. In the beginning, I'd actually have to go to the studio and they'd have a professional recording me. But later on, just have a recorder and just record yourself and send the file. We'd use Telegram. I heard that I know English and Arabic, so they took me to Raqqa. I watched them as well. Some were good, some were bad. Some were more towards the emotional side type of thing. One that came out of Aleppo Wilaya, a boy who was going to do a martyrdom operation, tried to give a narrative instead of just showing like battle scenes, and actually tried to play on your heartstrings. He did eventually. And then afterwards it says that his father, who was working at the office of martyrs and their families, his job would be to register people's names on the list, and today he was registering his son's name. Just the fact that it was different. Much of the stuff that came later where there was no change at all and it's just repeating the same thing, just showing battle footage, and it could be like a scenario that was written out and I just review it, record it. Sometimes it would be, let's say, a history lesson about Kosovo. The whole reason I was in media, I have no one else, so I should just not be selfish. The Syrian regime came, started bombing. We went to a string of towns and villages. In the end, it became scarce, very scarce. Second half of 2018. The central media, I don't think, was Wilaya videos still coming out. We were split up. I don't know, at that time, every team had like its own place, multiple teams in one place. At the very end, like, we were just all working out of our homes. At the end, yeah. During their last offensive from Hajin up until Baghouz, I made a decision to go out and fight instead of just staying in media. During the course of a gun battle, I was taken prisoner of the STF. Basically, they kept calling out to surrender. I was out of ammo. I came out and surrendered. Came later on, after I got captured when I was in prison, and I talked to a lot of the guys. Just sort of dismissed them as like baseless rumors. In prison, talking to basically a lot of people, hearing their conversations among each other, realized, okay, these guys aren't making it up. A lot of like injustice, especially at the hands of the Amniyin, the security guys, basically, especially in the prisons, torture even, false confessions and that sort of thing. There was this kind of infighting on some issues of creed. On the takfir issue, no, and I'm against that. My own parents, what have they done to deserve takfir? I heard there was some sort of deal in Tel Afar to kind of sell out the foreigners. At the end of the battle in Tel Afar, cut a deal and basically leave the foreigners hanging. Apparently it was to the benefit of the Iraqis. After being in prison and hearing all the stories, I basically washed my hands of them. You have good scholars, you have bad scholars. That's the reality, and that's what's spoken about in the Quran itself. You really have to be careful who you're taking from. I've learned along the way that a lot of the problems had to do with the fact that they wouldn't follow the texts exactly as they should be. Scholar overriding a verse of the Quran or a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, and you see this a lot. One of the benefits I gained of growing up in the West, I feel fortunate that I actually took the time to learn Arabic so that I can go back, and instead of having to rely on modern day scholars, I can go back to the more classical books and see what they have to say. it's better to rely on those who are already in their graves. Learning to kind of do your own research and having the tools at hand, it'll keep me from just swallowing anything I see from ISIS or anyone else. Having been a part of victimizing others, that's my main concern. That's what I'm mostly afraid of. But wait on the judge, that's not what's on my mind. My greater concern really is being absolved of my sin in front of God.